So where did we leave off? Queen Elizabeth II and Philip were immortalized with statues, and so was Lady Diana. So were the Confederates in the South. And so was Michael Jackson. It was, I don't know, and now remember, I'm going by memory because I promised everybody from the beginning of this channel on March the 23rd of 2023, I would never ever do a redo because I'm learning how to edit and splice and slice on shorts, but I don't know how to do it on videos yet. So this is the way podcasts and radios and people used to communicate, and I'm doing it this way. And it takes just as much effort to do it this way than to splice and slice. In fact, it's a little more difficult because you don't have a picture to follow and then commentate afterwards. You're going by your memory. Now, Michael Jackson also has a statue as an icon, the king of pop. Elvis was what? The king of rock? Oh, he was the king of something. And then Michael Jackson was the king of something. Now, so Michael Jackson was immortalized. Now let me talk about the people, before we get to Wade, let me talk about the people that came out to defend Michael Jackson when Leaving Neverland was aired. Dan Reed went on to all kinds of different talk shows. The Today talk show, Good Morning Britain, Good Morning Australia, CTV Canada. I don't know if there's a Good Morning New York, NBC News, HBO. HBO is a very, very credible channel. Bill Maher would not associate himself with assholes. Now, I even remember Bill Maher saying, now after Neverland, or as he said, after watching Leaving Neverland, I can't listen to Pretty Young Thing anymore. And it was a joke, but there's truth in it. I want to love you, pretty young thing. And then he grabs his crotch and moves his leg to the side, which I think looks so stupid now compared to other dancers. At any rate, so then Oprah, the snake, this is what she said at the beginning of Leaving Neverland, this is what she said after Neverland on her 2-hour special. After watching 4 hours of Leaving Neverland, Oprah had After Neverland. But my title is Never Forget Leaving Neverland. It pisses me off that these elites, like when I was talking to that lady yesterday, and she was saying there's more of us than them. So why does everybody keep their mouth shut? So let's talk about the defenders of Michael Jackson, and then I'm going to debunk their bullshit and the narrative, and then I'm going to debunk the bullshit that was talked about in reference to Wade Robinson right out of Britney Spears' book. Where did I get that information? From Britney Spears' book. Where did the information from Britney Spears come from? Britney Spears. And she wrote every word of that book. And who's reading Britney Spears right now? The woman in me is Cheer Denise. Cheere, Denise. She's reading The Woman in Me, written by Britney Spears. She's on chapter 2, go to her channel and listen to chapter 1 and chapter 2. Then we'll talk about Wade, and I'll debunk all of the lies that were told about him. Now here were the Jackson defenders. Ready? The lawyer, I don't remember his name, and just close your eyes when I talk. You know, when I'm doing these, close your eyes and listen. Because you have seen this footage, and I'm not putting it up again to install it into your consciousness. Do your own research and come to your own conclusion about what I'm saying. And I did all of this research for a long time. And I'm not going to share who every source was or anything like that. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a psychologist. It is my right as a Canadian citizen to speak the truth of what I think. Now, I'm not even monetizing yet. And when I do, this is going to be, I hope, the first real YouTube charity where the money comes in through me out to people who need it on camera, so people know when they hit that subscribe button, they're doing it for a good cause. I'm not doing this for shits and giggles or to get famous. The only reason I ever sang or danced is because I loved it. It's the only reason. Plus, spending a year in a wheelchair and then being able to do ballet again is a miracle in itself. Now, the people who came out to defend Michael Jackson, Taj Jackson, Jermaine Jackson, LaToya Jackson, Janet Jackson, Oprah Winfrey, Paris, the daughter, the son, Prince, Debbie, the mother. I believe that was Debbie's egg. They were not Michael Jackson's eggs, because he was dishonored in his mind by his own ethnicity because of the racism in which he grew up in. So he's been through a lot, Michael Jackson, in his life. I don't know if he was born a P or made a P. Okay? He was a manipulator. This is exhausting. So Taj Mahal comes out. Piers Morgan sits there with Dan Reed and says, well, I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. Blah, 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 blah. That just goes to show you the PR machine, that if you want to know how PR machines work, go listen to the Royal Grift, which is another amazing channel on how I learned how this industrial, what does she call it? And it's the real name. The industrial complex something. Anyways, Zuckerberg was at the palace, so don't tell me people aren't trying to shut down our free speech through Meghan and Harry, because he's used to controlling the narrative. Just like the Jacksons are used to controlling their narrative, which is he never had a childhood. He was a performer since he was a child. Well, so was Britney Spears, but she didn't become a pedophile. And she was sexualized when she was 8 years old. And if you want to know a real ethical opinion, go to Cheer Denise. I'm not like Cheer Denise. Her name's Cheer, not Denise. Her real name is Cheer. I didn't get that till a week ago, and I've been watching her since I started my channel. And this woman is amazing. Okay. Everybody's coming out to defend him, and I get that, because who could believe that a family member could do that? Well, I'm not saying any names, but I happen to know somebody where there was somebody in their family who was, okay? And the children were so confused on how the father, they believed it and they disowned him. Whereas with Michael Jackson, They were all aware of it. Do you remember LaToya Jackson on Geraldo in the 1990s, and she was talking about a check that was left to some boy named James, and it was for $100,000 and rings. Go Google Geraldo Rivera and LaToya Jackson on Michael Jackson. LaToya disowned that family for a while because they were Jehovah's Witnesses. She didn't believe in it. Then you have Elizabeth Taylor, just completely from a different generation, absolutely believing Michael Jackson. Because I remember videos of Michael Jackson and Elizabeth Taylor and her buying him like little actual child toys for a 40-year-old man, and it was on camera, and it was the weirdest thing I ever saw. I'll never forget the young boy whose name I won't mention was on his lap at the Grammys, and I thought that was the weirdest thing. Do you think he would try to do anything to Macaulay Culkin? Probably not, because his parents were in showbiz and he was protected and rich already. He groomed. So these people come out and defend him, and I get it. And I'm sure there were good parts of him. Because there were very good parts of this person that I knew, that I found out, that did something horrible to two boys. Now, think of the power Michael Jackson had back then. Think of the sound of freedom that Hollywood tried to suppress. And Oprah Winfrey, have you ever heard a talk show host talk about, Dan, I did, on 25 years of the Oprah Winfrey Show, I did 217 shows about sexual abuse. And I tried and I tried and I tried. Well, this is what kills me about that. And then she says, and I called Dan, but I didn't know him. And she was sitting on a yacht when she did it. So I get everybody's pushback. The videos that were made after the pushback on Leaving Neverland, because he's American royalty, just like the monarchs are English royalty. But I'm sorry, Mountbatten was a P, and he was Prince Charles's hero. That's why I say they all intertwined. Now, to debunk every lie and the narrative that MJ was NG, not guilty. I believe he's G, guilty, 100% guilty, without reasonable doubt. I do not have to be there to know. And as somebody who was offended myself, but from a very different level, could you imagine God coming down to you and telling you, God brought us to, I'm God, and God brought us together. And this kid, Wade, was like 7 years old, and he groomed the whole family. Why was Oprah so interested to talk to them? Because she has a school in Africa. Just think about it. I'm not saying anything more. Go do your own research. Do not take my opinion. Hey, and comment. And if you hate it, dislike it. If you hate what I'm saying, tell me. If you agree, hit like and comment about it. I'm not trying to have a conversation with the wall. Wade Robinson is telling the truth. I know what it's like to have to lie and lie and lie and lie about something because of shame that I would go to my grave. And it took me 20 years to go get help, which is the exact same time period as Wade Robinson, James Safechuck, James Safechuck saw Wade Robinson on NBC coming out. Why did he come out after Michael died? Why did he come out, as Taj Jackson said, because he didn't get the Cirque du Soleil with the Jackson estate and he's doing it for money? Bullshit. Bullshit. He had a son. He was having terrible thoughts about how could I let Michael Jackson do those things to me as a boy. But the thought of holding my son, it makes me so sick. And the confusion that would have set into him. If I was 21 years old and Michael Jackson asked me to lie for him, I would have. If I was Wade, do you think I would have wanted anybody to know about that? Hell no. My father asked me once to lie in an insurance claim for him, and he's my father. And I said no. First I said yes. Thank God it never came to fruition, but at the end of the day I would have said no, because I hate liars and hypocrites. We're all hypocrites. All of us, including me. Now, the other thing, they were talking about James Safechuck and the train, and this wasn't there when that was built, and the time, da-ding, 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 da-ding. James Safechuck and Wade Robinson have been held that secret their whole lives. The only difference between James and Wade is James didn't have the confidence, because he was already damaged by Wade, because he's a little older. He was already damaged way before Wade, and way longer than Wade. But Wade, being a performer and a dancer, had that outlet. And that's why he dances. And he did have to scream the truth as loud as he screamed the lie. And he did it when he was dead. So what? Jimmy Savelli died and people went crazy. But Michael Jackson dies? Look at all the good apparently Jimmy Savile did in Grimsby. And then 10 years later, interviewers from the BBC sat down and couldn't believe they believed that man, because people get so stuck in the moment, which is a healthy thing. Wade, I stand by you. You're not a liar. He destroyed your family. But don't give him that power. James, don't give him that power. And Oprah, I am going to expose you like everybody else, like Paula M., like P. Dinah, like TNT UK, like I don't know about Candace Owen, about, and Meghan Markle and Hillary Clinton and Keith Raniere. What do they all have in common? You can't see anything behind their eyes, and you can't put your finger on what you don't like about them. That's when you hit the road running. On that note, Merry Christmas. Take care of yourselves, and I'll do the same.